Bismillah. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah. Okay, for the last couple of sittings, we've gone through the next part of the book, of this short introduction. And this part is a key aspect of the book that you need to know as a student. And if a person does not have this information strong in your mind, then iraab, grammatical analysis, will become very difficult. And because this can be quite overwhelming, we're recording the screen so that we can type it as we go along. But for the last couple of sessions, you've done it on the board. And every time I've told you, you have to write this, you have to write that, do it at home from memory, practice, practice, practice. So it becomes like second nature. So by way of recap, quickly we'll mention that i'raab is grammatical analysis, is the changing that occurs at the end of words due to grammatical factors that enter upon the words, and that the change can either be a change that is pronounced or it is hidden. And then we went on to mention that the different states that a word can be in grammatically are four. It's either going to be in a state of raf' or the state of nasb, state of khafd, or the state of jazm. And then we went on to mention, the next point was that asma can either be raf' in a state of raf' or in a state of nasb or in a state of khafd, and they will never be in a state of jazm. And af'al can be in a state of raf', in a state of nasb, in a state of jazm, and they can never be in a state of khafd. And then we mentioned that harf does not enter upon any of that. So the harf ja'a li ma'na does not have grammatical analysis applied to it. So next part was that for each of the four states, there are different signs. So these are the alamat of i'raab. So if we were to write here, hope it's the Arabic keyboard. Okay. Al-raf'u. Okay. The next state is what? Al-nasb. Good. Next one? Al-khafd. And al-khafd is also known as al-jar or majroor. Yeah. So all of this is said the state is al-raf' and the thing will be marfu'. Nasb and it will be mansub and so on. Yeah. Khafd can also be, if you do Menina books, for example, it's mentioned as jar and majroor. And the last one was al-jazm. I don't have the Arabic keys, so it's trial and error. Okay. And then I said to you that each of these has a sign. It has a main sign and it has other signs that sometimes take the place of the main sign. Okay. So al-raf' has four signs. The main sign is a dhamma. The secondary sign is a waw. The third sign is an alif, and then you have a noon. Let me put them underneath. So you have a dhamma, waw, alif, and noon. Nasb has five signs. They are fatha. The main sign is a fatha. Then you have also what stretches a fatha, alif, a kasra, ya, which stretches the kasra, and the taking away of noon. Yeah. So the taking away, I'll put it in red. Removal of a noon. Yeah. Sadly, I can't seem to put. So this is a fatha here. It's not really that clear. Or should we put it? Okay, you put it in writing. No, it's going to take too much space. Oh, khafd has three signs: kasra, ya, and fatha. Jazm has two signs, which is sukoon, the primary sign sukoon, and the removal of a letter. Okay, hadf. So two signs, yeah. So the sukoon and then the removal of a letter. Okay, let's run that quickly again. So we said, this is going to give me a headache. Okay, we said raf' has four signs. The main sign, the primary sign, is a dhamma. And then it has also waw, alif, noon. Nasb has five signs, and the main sign is a fatha. This is a fatha here. And what stretches a fatha? Alif. Then you also have a kasra. What stretches the kasra? A ya. And you have the removal of a noon. Okay. Khaf has three signs, which is the kasra. The primary sign is a kasra. And then you have two substitutes, either a ya, which is what stretches the kasra, or a fatha in exceptional words. And then for jazm, you have only two signs, and the primary sign, the main sign, is a sukoon, and also you have the removal of a letter, the removal of a noon, or sometimes the removal of a weak letter. Okay, so in different word types, the signs of a hal, of raf, or nasb, khafd, or jazm will be different. And I mentioned that there are 8 word types or categories of words that I want you to remember. 8 categories of words. By now, you should have memorized them because we've done it for about three sessions. So the first category, al-ismu, what? Al-ismu al-mufrad. Second category? Or jam, okay. Jam al-taksir. Taksir. Next category? Where's the one with mu'annath? Good. Okay, yep. Okay, next one. Tathniyatu. Good. Tathniyatu, jewel. Next one. الأسماء الخمسة. Next one.
الفعل المضارع الذي لم يتصل بآخر شيء.
يتصل بآخره شيء. Okay, let's make this a bit small. So الفعل المضارع الذي لم يتصل بآخره شيء. Let's try and make this ultra small. So we try to fit it on one page. So الفعل المضارع الذي لم يتصل بآخره شيء. Okay. And what the last one? الأفعال الخمسة. Of course, as we mentioned previously, there's different discussion with regards to all of these things, yeah? So there's things that could be said, should it be named this, should it not be named this, and so on. Okay, so before we move forward, let's just quickly see if you remember. Insert a table. Okay, how many columns do we want? Let's put, I think 3 should be enough. How many rows? I think let's put 13 just to be extra safe. Let's put 15 to be extra safe. Okay, so here Can you tell me the pronouns, please?
Yeah. أنا.
Oh, sorry. Ana, okay.
نحن.
Nahnu.
أنت.
Nahnu. So ana and nahnu are the mutakallim, the person who is speaking. Okay, next one.
أنت.
Anta.
أنتِ.
Anti. Yep.
أنتم. أنتما.
Antum. Or antuma, sorry, yes.
And then أنتم.
Antum.
أنتن.
Antunna. With a shadda.
هو.
Antunna. Wait, let me try to. Oh, this needs to be. Let me try to make this a bit smaller. Okay. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. What are you going to say? Okay. Antunna. So these here now are the mukhatab, the person that when you're addressing someone, you're speaking to them. In English, they would say the second person, yeah? Okay. Then we go into the third person, the ghaib.
هو.
Huwa,
هي.
hiya,
هما.
huma,
هم.
hum,
هن.
and hunna. So we can delete these. Okay. In order for us to have an understanding of the fi'l mudari' الذي لم يتصل بآخره شيء, we're going to look at the fi'l, the أفعال المضارع. Okay. Should we just delete this here? بسم الله. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. طيب. أنا. Let's try to put the verb as. Okay, let's put أفعل first, and then we put أفعل. Okay. So the root word is فعل. Okay. Is there anything added to the lam after?
دم.
No. Any other letter? No. So this fi'l mudari' which has nothing added to it at the end, yeah? لم يتصل بآخر شيء. Okay, what about with نحن? How would you put فعل with نحن in the present tense?
نفعل.
نحن نفعل. Okay. Is there anything added to the to the third radical or the third root letter, the lam? So nothing has been attached to this fi'l mudari'. So it comes under here. الفعل المضارع الذي لم يتصل بآخر شيء. Nothing has been attached to the end. So here, as we can see in the first two, nothing has been attached to the end. Yeah? Because the lam is the original letter of the verb. Nothing has been attached to it at the end. If this is going way past your mind right now, way past, like you don't understand what is fi'l mudari', then this may be a bit too advanced, this introduction. But stick with it, inshallah. If you understand some of these words, but it's a bit difficult, then that's the exact place that you need to be at. You need to be challenged. When you learn something, you need to have some difficulty in it, because that shows that you're growing. Yeah. If it's very easy, you know all of it, then it's revision for you, which is still beneficial. Okay. Anta. So anta taf'alu. So here we just change the ta. تفعل. Has anything been added to the end of the verb? No. So it's فعل مضارع لم يتصل بآخر شيء. أنت تفعلين. Has anything been added to the end of it?
Yes.
So now look, after the lam, we see that there is an extra part here. تفعلين. So this is a فعل مضارع, but attached to it is something. So this does not come under the فعل مضارع الذي لم يتصل بآخر شيء. This is something else now. Yeah. So let's take this and 1 second. Let's take this فعل مضارع الذي. All of these fall under that. This is not فعل مضارع لم يتصل. No, something has been added. Okay. أنتما. تفعلان. Shouldn't be looking at your notes by now. Should be on board. Has anything been added? Okay, here the alif is not showing because alif mad. But has anything been added to it? Yes. So the lam is the last letter, but something has been added. So it's not فعل مضارع الذي لم يتصل بآخر شيء because something اتصل بآخره. There's something that is connected to the ending. Okay, notice also these two are one category. أنا نحن. What did we say they were called? What category? متكلم. Okay. Now these are going to be what? مخاطب. Yeah. So notice the ta is involved here. تفعلوا, تفعلا, تفعلين, تفعلان. And the next one, أنتم تفعلون. Has anything been added to the end of this verb? Okay, so is it فعل مضارع الذي لم يتصل بآخر شيء؟ لا. Okay, what about أنتن؟ أنتن تفعلن. Okay, has anything been added to the end of this verb? Yes. So is it فعل مضارع الذي لم يتصل بآخر شيء? No. Okay, good. So these are all مخاطب. Let's put it. Okay. Okay, what about هو? That's past tense فعل. Present tense. هو يفعل. So notice now that we've moved from the ta to a ya. Yeah. So here for the ghaib, generally, not always, because we're going to see the exception here, but generally we're going to see the ya is taking place. طيب. Has anything been added to the end of it? No. So then, is it فعل مضارع الذي لم يتصل بآخر شيء? Yes. Okay. What about هي? هي تفعل. Has anything been added to the end of it? No. So then it's فعل مضارع الذي لم يتصل بآخر شيء. Notice here, تفعل is for أنت and تفعل for هي. You'll know by the context. طيب. Next one, هما. So like تفعلان, but what's the difference between تفعلان and this one? Here we have يفعلان. Yeah. Has anything been added to the end of it? Yes. So is it فعل مضارع الذي لم? No. Okay, what about whom? Has anything been added to the end of it? Yes. Good. So is it فعل مضارع الذي لم يتصل بآخر شيء? No. Okay, what about this one? هن يفعلن. Okay, so notice the ya here as well, yeah? Okay. So has anything been added to the end of it? Yes. So is it فعل مضارع الذي لم يتصل بآخر شيء? No. It's not. Okay. Okay, so all these now are ghaib. They are absent from the conversation. They are third person. Okay. Let's see if we can get them on one page. 1 second. Layout, margins, narrow. Allahu Akbar. Okay, good. Maybe we can make them a bit bigger now. Oops. Oh, no. Okay. What happened there? Okay, خلاص, they're on one page now. So let's circle, center this. Okay. So now here we can see that from the أفعال المضارع, the مضارع verbs, some of them have some things attached to it and some of them don't. So when the author says here الفعل المضارع الذي لم يتصل بآخر شيء, we look here. This is the verbs, present tense verb. We see that some of them have nothing attached. الفعل المضارع. Okay, so أفعل, nothing attached. نفعل, to the end, sorry. Nothing attached to the end. Okay? Is that all of them? Yes. So when we say al-fi'l al-mudari' alladhi lam yattasil bi akhir shay, we're talking about these ones, the ones that have this here, 5 of them. And then he says al-af'al al-khamsa. Al-af'al al-khamsa, and as we mentioned previously, when you explain this book, when you go through a mutawassit, kind of intermediate level explanation for what we would consider intermediate, you will discuss whether this is the right type of names and so forth. But for now, we just use the names that the author mentioned. Okay, so part of the af'al al-khamsa, so let's color them. Okay, خلاص, okay, af'al al-khamsa are what? تفعلين.
أنت تفعلين، أنتما تفعلان، أنتم تفعلون،
Good.
هما يفعلان، هم يفعلون.
So if we, the fi'l mudari', we're going to color it red. Sorry, the fi'l mudari' الذي لم يتصل بآخر شيء, we're going to color it. What color should we put? Orange. Okay. أفعال الخمسة. Why is it not coming up? Okay. أفعال الخمسة we can put as, I want to do a light color so you can still see it. Yellow. Okay. And this here, you don't touch. Here, you don't touch. You just leave them. So now we're going to know what we mean here. Okay. Okay. So al-ism al-mufrad. Let's give an example. You give me an example of an ism mufrad. So talibun. Good. Talibun. You can put talibun, talibu. Yeah. The main thing, the sign is the dhamma. Whether it's one dhamma or two, the main sign is a dhamma. Okay. Oops. So in ism mufrad, an example is talibu, talibun. Or you could say najmun, kitabun, yeah, a book, the star, an-najmu, the book, the kitab, the house, many things, yeah. Okay, so in the raf' state, the sign out of these 4 signs is going to be dhamma. Okay, what about in a nasb state? What would the sign be? Fatha. So remember we said the main sign is a fatha, and it could be one of these 4. Yeah. So these signs are going to be spread amongst these word types. There's how many word types? You should know from the top of your head. 8 word types that the author mentions. Yeah. By now you should know. You have to memorize this. Otherwise, grammatical analysis is going to be very difficult. Okay. Okay. Khafd. Kasra. And jazm, there's no jazm. So remember, for asma, there is no jazm. Asma, they don't take jazm. So there's no sign here for them. Okay, good. Jam'u taksir. You have students and studying on the brain, yeah? Tullab. Allahumma barik. Tullab. Tullabu. Or tullabun. Okay, so here you could have tullab. Jam' taksir means broken plural. You should have studied or come across the fact that in Arabic there are plurals which are broken. They don't take a fixed suffix. So you have, for example, Muslimun, one Muslim. Muslimuna, Muslims. In English we put an S at the end, yeah? Many Muslims, the plural. And you add, there's a suffix that you add to the word Muslimun, you put waw and noon, and you make it plural. That's Jam' Mudhakkar Salim. Salim is that it has a certain pattern, that is, it doesn't break the word up. You can have Jam' Mu'annath Salim, like you say, for example, Sayyaratun, Sayyaratun. You add an alif and ta to make it plural. So the word remains intact, the main part of the word stays the same, you just add something at the end. But for Jam'u taksir are those words that are broken up. So if you see talibun, you don't say talibuna, you say tullabun. Or here, in the example here, we don't say talibuna, we say tullab. Okay, so Jam'u Taksir Tullabun in the Raf is going to be the Dhamma. Out of these four signs is the Dhamma. Okay, what about in the Nasb? What's the sign going to be? Fatha. Yeah, this is still the first sign. How many signs does Nasb have? 5. Okay, what about Khaf? What would Jam'u Taksir be in Khaf? Tullabi. Good. Or Tullabin. Yeah. It could have the word Kutub. Yeah. So you say Kutubun, Kutuban, Kutubin. Yeah. Okay, Jam' Mu'annath is okay, sorry. Jazm doesn't have ism. Asma don't have jazm. So Jam' Taksir is part of an ism, or it comes under the category of ism, so it doesn't have jazm. Okay, what are you going to give me for Jam' Mu'annath as-Salim? Jami'at. Jami'atu. Okay. The plural of Jami'ah. So one university. Jami'atun, universities. Yeah. So the main bulk of the word has remained the same. We just added an alif and ta at the end. Okay. So in marfu', the sign is the dhamma. Still the same sign. All these three have the same sign so far. So out of the 4 signs, we've only used one. The dhamma, 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 dhamma. Okay, in nasb, what's the sign? Jami'ati. So now we've differed. Here was fatha, fatha. Now here's kasra. So here the kasra here. So now we've used 2 out of the 5 signs for nasb. And what about in the khafd? Jami'ati with the kasra. So here we're still using the kasra. Kasra, kasra, kasra. Okay, what about here? In the jazm? It doesn't take it because it is an ism. Okay, notice here that in a nasb and al-khafd state, the sign is the same. Jami'ati, jami'ati. How would you know if it's nasb or khafd? You look at the context. If it is mudaf, mudaf ilayh, then you would say that is khafd. Khafd. If it is maf'ulun bihi, then you say mansub. So another word that is common, as-samawatu. Here you could put as-samawatu with the dhamma. Here, as-samawati. Maf'ulun bihi. خلق الله السماوات. It is maf'ulun bihi, but because it is jam' mu'annath as-salim, the sign is going to be a kasra, not the fatha which we're normally accustomed to. So if you look in the Quran, you see that al-ard is ism mufrad. خلق الله السماوات with the kasra. Why kasra? Because it is nasb and it is jam' mu'annath as-salim. And the sign for jam' mu'annath as-salim in nasb is kasra. And what about when he says خلق الله السماوات والأرض with a fatha? Why is this fatha? It is mansub as well, but because it is ism mufrad, the sign is fatha. Okay. Here, inna fi khalqis samawati. Yeah, same word, but here it is kasra. It is not mansub. It is in a state of khaf. Fi khalqis samawati. So it is in a state of khaf because it is mudaf ilayh. Khalqis samawat, the creation of the heavens and the earth. So you would know by the context. طيب, jam' مذكر السالم. Example? المسلمون. Sorry, I'll make it easier because mu'minun I have to find the waw that has. Yeah. Okay. So here, what's the sign for marfu'? Okay. So notice al-muslimuna. The sign that it is marfu' is the waw. Okay. Al-muslimuna. So what's the sign? The waw. Okay. The waw. Okay. Next one. Al-muslimina. What's the sign now? The ya. And here, in a state of nasb, a jam' mudhakkar salim will also be with a ya. The waw will change to a ya. And in khaf, same thing. The waw will be a ya. And as al-muslimina. Okay, the harakat are very important here. Al-muslimina. Alhamdulillah. May Allah grant us peace. So here, al-muslimuna, al-muslimina, al-muslimina. So the sign for nasb and khaf is the ya. How do we know the difference? Which one it is? We look at the context. Like we mentioned previously for this, here we also look at the context. Yeah. Sallamtu ala al-muslimina. I gave salams to the Muslims. It says khaf, and the sign is the ya. Why is it khaf? Because it came after ala. Okay. Inna al-muslimina. It is mansub. So it is in a state of nasb. The sign is a ya. How do we know it's mansub? Because inna. It comes after inna. Yeah. It is ismu inna. I say it comes after to make it easy, but it is ismu inna. So we look at the context. And here, because it is an ism, it doesn't take jazm. Another jam' mudhakkar salim. Al-mu'minuna. And then al-mu'minuna, raf, nasb. Al-mu'minina. And khaf. Al-mu'minina. Likewise, there are other examples. Okay. At-tathniya. Good. Kitabani. Kitabani. What is the state? So it is raf, and the sign is the alif. Oops, sorry. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. The alif. Kitabani. So now how many have we used of the signs, the 4 signs? 3. And there are 4 signs. Okay, in a nasb. Okay, tathniya means jewel, sorry, for those that are unaware. Tathniya means jewel. Yeah, so here, kitabun is 1 book. Kitabani, 2 books. Like in the famous hadith, the last hadith of al-Bukhari, this collection. Kalimatani, habibatani, ila ar-Rahmani, khafifatani. Yeah. أو كما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. Okay. 2 words or 2 statements that are beloved to Ar-Rahman, and they are light upon the tongue, they are heavy in the scales. Yeah. So go and research what those 2 words are. That's homework. طيب. So okay, in a state of nasb, what is it going to be? Kitabaini. 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 And so how many signs of khafd have we used? We've used 4, yeah? 1, fatha, kasra, that's 2, ya, 3, and the ya. Yeah? So is it 3 or 4? 1, 2, 3. Out of how many signs? Out of 4. Out of 5 signs. But notice here, the ya is used in different places, so the color coded is a bit not really working out for us that much. Yeah, but khair, inshallah. The main point is that the thing has gone through. Yes. Kitabain, khaf, kitabaini as well. Yeah? Kitabaini. Okay, and there is no jazm because it's ism. So kitabani, kitabaini, kitabaini. Okay, if I was to say pen, 2 pens. Qalamani. Then, how do you know whether it is nasb or khaf? You look at the context, right? Excellent. Al-asma'ul khamsa. Okay, so let's go down and just quickly type them out, yeah? Again, as this is just an introduction, we're not going to go into much detail, but when you do a sharh, especially if it's a more detailed sharh, you will go into more detail. So they are as follows. There are 5 names that take special rules. Abuka, Akhuka, Hamuka, Fuka, not Dhuk, Dhu. Dhu. In the book he says, Dhu Malin. Or you can say, Dhu Ilmin. Which one is better? Which one is better, mal or ilm? I hope so, you're in class. Dhu, okay, so here you have how many names are here? Abuka, 1. Akhuka, 2. Hamuka, 3. Fuka, dhu, Fuka, 4. And dhu. All of these, there's a couple of conditions. Number 1, they have to be mudaf. So you can see that they're attached to something. Yeah? So they're attached to the ka. And second point is that they're not attached to ya. So it's not abi. So it can be abuka, abuna, abuki, abuhum, and so forth, but not attached to the ya mutakallim. Yeah? For them to fall under, for them to take these special rules. The word abu by itself, if you would take the word abun by itself, it will come under ism mufrad. It will take the same signs as ism mufrad. But if it is mudaf and it is not mudaf to ya al-mutakallim, then it comes under asma al-khamsa. Abuka, your father. Akhuka, your brother. Hamuka, the in-law. Fuka, your mouth. And dhu, the possessor of. Okay, let's go back up now. Al-asma al-khamsa. So here we take akhuka. What's the sign? Wow. Okay, so wow, we've used it before. Yeah, akhuka. So this is the state of marfu'. Okay, what about in nasb? What's the sign? Incorrect. Alif. Yeah. Ra'aytu akhaka. I saw your brother. So what? How do we know that it's? What's the sign of mansub or nasb? The alif. Okay. So what color should we make it? Blue. It's too dark blue. Okay. Okay. And in state of khafd, it become akhika. Like for example, you read many narrations where it says an on the authority of Abi and something, Abi Huraira. So normally it's Abu Huraira in a state of marfu'. Abu Huraira. Yeah? Because Abu is mudaf to Huraira, father of. Yeah? In marfu', it will be Abu. In khaf, in a state of khaf, like after an, it becomes Abi, an Abi Huraira, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu qal. And you hear the hadith normally, right? If it was mansub, in a state of nasb, then you say Aba Huraira. For example, the munada, Ya Aba Huraira, or Ra'aytu Aba Huraira. Okay? And okay, here, so we need to color this yellow, yeah? Okay. So here, how many states of raf have we used? How many signs have we used so far? 3 out of 4, yeah? The dhamma in these in 3 instances, the waw in 2 instances, here and here, and the alif in 1 instance. Okay, in nasb, how many signs are there in nasb?
In nasb there's 5.
5. How many have we used so far? 4, okay. The fatha, the main sign in these 2, ism mufrad jam' taksir. The kasra in jam' muannath salim. The ya in these 2, the jam' mudhakkar salim and tathniya, and the alif in al-asma al-khamsa. And then in khafd, how many signs are there? 3. And we've used how many so far? 2. So the kasra, which is the main sign in the first 3 categories of words, al-ism mufrad, wa jam'u taksir, wa jam'u taksir, wa jam'u al-mu'annath salim. And then we've used the second sign, the ya, in how many instances? 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 3 instances. So the jam' mudhakkar salim, the tathniya, and the asma al-khamsa. This fatha is going to be mentioned later on by the author, and that's in the غير منصرف, al-mamnu' min al-sarf, like Ibrahima. When Yeah, so if you say fi Ibrahima or an Ibrahima, it doesn't take kasra, it will take fatha. Yeah, so it's an exception type of thing. Okay, for the asma al khamsa, there's no jazm because they are asma. Okay, we reach now the last sets of words. Alhamdulillah, I managed to squeeze it on there. Yes. So now these are verbs here. Okay, so we need to pay attention. Okay, الفعل المضارع الذي لم يتصل بآخر شيء. Can you give me an example of that, please? Okay, يذهب هو يذهب. Okay. What's the sign? Dhamma, which is the normal sign, yeah? The primary sign. Okay, so in a state of raf, the فعل مضارع الذي لم يتصل بآخر شيء has a dhamma as a sign. Okay. In mansub, يذهب. Okay. And so the sign is what? The fatha. Okay. And in khafd is going to be? Really? Khafd? A verb can be khafd? You fell into that. Yeah, but you have to be, I told you, you have to know this like the back of your hand. Yeah, you can't just, because I'm typing, you say yadhabi. No? Okay. Al-jazm? Yadhab, yeah. Why do you say idhab? Fi'l mudari', yeah, is not an amr. Idhab is an amr. Yeah. Okay, yadhab with the sukoon at the end. So we've used this out of the two, we've used this. Sometimes, again, when you go through the sharh, there's going to be exceptions. There's going to be things that discussed here. Okay, al-af'al al-khamsa. Remember, if we remind ourselves, there are these 5, yeah? تفعلين, تفعلان, تفعلون, يفعلان, يفعلون. طيب. So let's give an example. Go ahead. Good. Let's see if I can put بونا. Okay, what's the sign? The waw? The waw, yeah? So how many signs have we used? Okay. By process of elimination, you have to know the noon is a sign, yeah? So yeah. So what do I do? Gray. Okay. I thought it highlighted it. Okay. So here the noon is a sign. The fact that the noon is on that verb still is a sign. It's marfu'. Okay. What about if the al-af'al al-khamsa, one of them, is mansoob? What happens? You remove the noon. Okay? There's an alif there anyway, but you're going to remove the noon. So what happens here? You're going to put like this. So let's just put the noon here in red. Okay? Oh, not that way. Don't worry, but you see it in the mushaf. Okay? So the removal of a noon. So here, the noon has been removed. Yeah, it's red because it's been removed. I hope people not get confused here. It's removal of the noon. Okay, what about in khaf? Remove a noon. Okay, there's no khafd for the af'al. And what about in jazm?
It's the same thing. You get rid of something. So
Hadf. In this case, we will get rid of the noon. Oh. You get rid of the noon. Okay, so this should be somewhat clear by now. It will be quite difficult if this is the first time you're hearing it, but you need to, my advice is to try to copy this table out like this way, and then put examples from yourselves in these boxes. So that's this point here, the alamat of i'rab. When you go through the book, you're going to see the shaykh, he says, for example, فأما الرفع, it has 4 signs. الواو الضمة والواو والألف والنون. فأما النون أو فأما الواو فأما الضمة فتكون علامة للرفع في 4 مواضع. And he's going to mention. As for the dhamma, it's going to be a sign of raf in 4 situations. Okay? في الاسم مفرد وجمع التكسير وجمع المؤنث السالم وفي الفعل المضارع الذي لم يتصل بآخر شيء. وأما الواو فتكون علامة للرفع موضعين. As for the واو, it's going to be a sign of raf in two cases. في جمع مذكر السالم والأسماء الخمسة. He goes like that in like a list. So sometimes people they struggle to picture the list. So putting it like this for some of us makes it easier to be able to picture, have tasawwur of the whole kind of topic that is being mentioned. And in the next point, as we mentioned in the previous session, which we haven't recorded, but in the next point, the author gives you the same information, but from a different angle. He puts into two categories, if you remember, yeah? Depending upon what? What are the two categories that he puts the same thing in?
That would depend on the changes. They can either be changes of huruf or changes of the harakat.
Good. So he says, al-mu'arabatu qisman. The things that take i'rab are two types. That which changes with a haraka and that which changes with a letter. طيب, we stop here for this recording. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it, accept it, and grant us ease and understanding of the Arabic language and help us to understand the Quran and the prophetic narrations. Barakallahu feekum. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika. La ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.